Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is my detailed review and install of the Krona Performance 3-inch catback exhaust system available for your 2015 and newer Mustang GT. This review is going to cover my impressions of the Krona from a sound perspective, what you're going to be receiving as far as basic materials and construction, and then finally a quick little topical overview of the install itself. And in the world of aftermarket catbacks for the S550, I'm happy to say the Krona was an absolute dream to install on our GT thanks to the design and the included clamps here. So that's going to give it a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and we'll have a little bit more detail coming up later on. So the Krona catback is going to appeal to the S550 owners who want to take a break from the big name popular exhaust brands out there and go with a relative newcomer in the category, but one that's going to deliver on some premium materials and a premium build quality. Let's be honest, the Krona is certainly not the most affordable in the category. In fact, it's quite the opposite. But what you're getting in return is a stellar build quality and a very aggressive and very desirable tone. And since Krona is a smaller company overall, one might argue you're getting more of a focus on quality control than perhaps a larger company that mass produces thousands of exhausts on any given day. So with all that said, guys, let's take a closer look at the Krona. Now, Krona's story is actually an interesting one. It was started by a group of guys who really wanted to build the highest quality parts possible for not only interested customers, but also for their own rides. And so that's what they did. They opened up shop, and they've been doing so for a couple years now. But the interesting part is who they cater to at the time of this video. Obviously, we got some Mustang stuff here for the GT. They also do EcoBoost stuff as well, along with downpipes, but they also build systems for Saab. Yes, obviously an interesting demographic, but one that surely is going to expand as the company gains popularity. And I think the company growing really is going to be a given, at least in my opinion here, because if this is how they do business, if this is how they're going to produce some systems, I think they're going to gain some fans pretty quickly. Unboxing this thing for the first time, to the fit and finish, to obviously the tone, the Krona made a lot of fans here at AM just in its short time we had it on our GT. The thing produced a very aggressive tone when you were on the pedal, of course, but it was very quiet and very refined when you were off the pedal or just cruising around town. A lot of people kept referring to this thing as smooth. The tone was very smooth, and I think that's a great way to sum up the Krona's tone. It's not very raspy, you're not getting a lot of weird pops or noises on decel. It's just a very smooth and very refined system. So what does that mean for you? Well, breaking out the Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm going strong 3 out of 5 here. Again, this isn't the loudest system out there, but if you like a smooth, deep tone, I really do think you're going to enjoy the Krona. But let's take a minute and break down how the Krona is able to get this tone. And honestly, guys, it's going to be the combination of both the active and passive resonators here, working in conjunction with Krona's seamless mufflers that do utilize the Helmholtz sound reduction technology, an older tech, of course, but one that is basically going to reduce any interior drone. And whatever they've done, it works, because this thing is certainly quiet inside the cab when in 5th or 6th gear just lugging around town. Construction-wise, you're going to find a combination of both hand and machine welds here with the Krona system, in addition to the premium 304 grade stainless steel. Now, Krona likes to point out, because they are a little smaller overall, they get to hand pick all of their materials, and it certainly does show here with this particular system. 3-inch mandrel bent tubing here, and something that they do with their system is kind of rough it up a little bit, give it a brushed look. A lot of other companies will just leave the tubing and all that stuff just basically raw. Really nothing wrong with that, since this is an exhaust. After all, it's going to live under your car. But it's the small details like this that Krona does just to try to help make a name for themselves in the rather large pond that is the aftermarket world. Now, in addition to that, you are looking at their seamless mufflers and the 4.5-inch polished tips with their laser etch logo. And a small detail again, I just like to point out, I'm a huge fan of when companies do the 4.5-inch tips with their catback for the S550 GT. In my opinion, it just fills out the holes left in the rear bumper much better, and it just makes for a better appearance overall when on the car. A couple other cool things to point out here, guys. Krona does build all of their stuff at their headquarters or at their location in California, and everything they do is backed by their lifetime warranty. But let's switch gears, let's talk about price, and as I mentioned earlier, this is certainly going to be a premium option. In fact, you're dropping right around $1,200 to $1,300 for their GT catback. This is going to put it in the same conversation as Borla, as Kooks, but just shy of the Corsa offerings. But in my opinion, the price matches the quality here, and I totally don't think that Krona has overshot their value. Another nice thing to point out with the Krona here, and something you guys might enjoy if you end up going this route, is the ease of install. In fact, my buddy Joe, who actually threw this thing on our GT, said it was probably one of the easiest catbacks he ever installed on an S550 GT, and a large part of that can be attributed to the design of this system. The Krona does not utilize what is called a slip pipe style system, where the larger pipe goes over the smaller pipe as you do the install. Instead, all the piping here is exactly 3 inches, and you're going to utilize these very nice clamps that they do include to help you get the job done. Very solid clamps, and they do not leak whatsoever. So again, in his eyes, it just made the install that much easier, and it's something to pass along to you guys. With all that said, I'm going soft 1 out of 3 wrenches on my difficulty meter. No cutting, no permanent modification needed to get the Krona in place. Instead, you're looking at about an hour or 2 tops before you're making some noise. Now, you're gonna, of course, wanna remove your factory exhaust first, get the Krona in place using the included instructions. All of this can be done using a basic socket set. And of course, don't forget your jack and jack stands, race ramps, or lift, as all of your work will obviously be done underneath the car. Even though the Krona might be the new kid on the block in the world of aftermarket exhaust systems, it has everything needed to hang with the heavy hitters in the category. This includes premium materials, a quality build, and a very awesome tone with the best part of no interior drone. So that's my review of the Krona 3-inch catback, which you can grab for your GT right here at AmericanMuscle.com.